Welcome back to I Am Luminescent, where astrology meets intuition. Let's go ahead and take a deep dive into the stars and uncover what messages they have for you.
And I see it's gone to some astrology. Well, baby, I can see your face.
This video is going to focus on Venus in retrograde from March 1st until April 14th. Okay. Venus pre-shadow will begin around February 12th, 2025. The retrograde will begin March 1st in Aries. It's going to go back into Pisces around March 18th. The retrograde will end April 14th, and then the post shadow ends April 30th. So from February to almost May, we're going to have a huge effect of Venus. Now, remember in the previous video, we talked about Venus retrograde being an optical illusion astronomically, where Earth is still moving, but Venus gets as close to Earth as possible, and then it starts to slow down, which means it, from us, it looked like it's not moving at all, even though it still is. And with that, Venus coming so close to Earth, the energy of Venus frequency is going to be higher here on Earth. So, therefore, everyone's mind and energy is going to be more focused on the frequency of the planet Venus. And we know Venus has to do with love, appreciation, materialism, relationships. Okay. So, some things that we can look for from March 1st to the 18th while in Aries. We're going to be more focused. Four Wands is the Venus and Aries card. We're going to be more focused on our individuality, creating courage for ourselves, and taking more assertive action towards the things that we desire or appreciate or, look to have balancing us in our lives. We will be reevaluating, because it is a retrograde, how we assert ourselves in one on one partnerships and pursue our desires equally. Okay. And the thing about Aries energy is Aries is a selfish energy. Um, Aries is selfish, Leo is self centered, and Sagittarius is selfless. That's just the fire, the trinity of the fire dynamic. Okay. So it's nothing wrong or bad about being selfish. It's just about having the balance with the Venusian energy or the Libra energy, because Aries opposite is Libra. So each fire sign actually has an opposite that is an air sign. So fire is about yourself, but the air energy taps into other people, other minds, other personalities. So it has a balance. So with the Aries Venus being from March 1st to the 18th retrograde, we're going to be reevaluating, reviewing, recalibrating ourselves and how we show up in our lives when compared to how we show up in relationships with other people. Now, getting into the Pisces part, Pisces retrograde will cover March 18th until April 14th. Okay. So during this, there are going to be themes about Pisces, which has to do with compassion, forgiveness, and spiritual connection. Pisces is the sign that doesn't have any barriers or boundaries. It's very hard for Pisces, wherever you have Pisces in your chart, to hold on to boundaries. So we're going to have to reevaluate how, with Saturn being here, how are we going to uphold our boundaries to stay focused on what Saturn is asking us to do, the taskmaster. So this can include emotional healing, revisiting dreams, and exploring the subconscious patterns. Okay. With Venus being exalted in Pisces, sometimes we can overdo the compassion, overdo the forgiveness, overdo our spiritual connection to a point where we start to disassociate, not disconnect. Aquarius is more so disconnect or, detach. Pisces is more so disassociate. So sometimes we can disassociate from ourselves because we're too busy associating and giving ourselves to others. And that's where those boundaries have to come in. Because we can definitely, during this time of March into April, we're starting the new year, right? Everything is about newness. March 21st is the actual new year of the earth. So around this time, things are, Ace of Wands, things are sprouting up, things are new, things are being reborn. We are feeling the rebirth with the sun energy coming back online heavy. It's starting to increase to a point where we having way more than 6 hours of sunlight, like where everyone is getting back to being busy and being in their egos again after going through the winter where the ego had to, take a seat. So with the Venus retrograde going in to the new year, it's like some of our value systems haven't been completely figured out yet. So starting the new year, March 21st, on the spring equinox can feel like, okay, I am ready for newness, but there is something about myself or my value system that I'm still working on. And we don't want that to be an insecurity as to how we move forward. And then we end up in codependent relationships or codependent dynamics when it goes from Aries to Pisces going into April, which is still is going to be Aries season as well. So the sun is going to be here as an assistant in this exaltation of Aries to give us the exact things that are limiting us when it comes to our value system, how we see ourselves, how we need to be seeing ourselves, versus being so overly compassionate and so giving to another person that we end up giving everything that we have and we leave ourselves with nothing. And that's where the balance has to come in. Okay. The North Node will be with Pisces as well. So compassion, forgiveness, and spirituality will be heightened with humanity, of course. However, Saturn is still in Pisces, telling us that we still need boundaries in this regard. So that means still keep your, still keep your head on the swivel, still keep your wits about you, still keep your eyes, all eyes open, still keep, you know, your smarts, your intelligence high. You can't forget intelligence just because you're intuitive. That's how you get yourself sent on a spiral that it's kind of hard to get off of. So let's look at the impacts on the Venus rule signs first. Now it'll be Taurus and Libra. So this Venus retrograde for Taurus is going to have you reflecting on your financial security and self-worth. For Libra, you'll be reassessing partnerships and shared values. Okay. Now, astrologically speaking, if with Taurus being the first house, we're going to do it that way. With Taurus being the first house, that means it's because it's Aries is the 12th house and 11th house is Pisces. So this is your 12th and 11th house Taurus risings or Taurus sun, where you're going to be having to reflect on your financial security and self-worth when it comes to, you know, people being envious of that, of whatever financial security or self-worth that you have. And then that goes into friendships. So you might want to be very mindful of the friendships that you have and make sure you're not giving too much away to your friendships and not enough to yourself. Because if someone is able to create an insecurity about, your blind spots, what you can't see, and they use that as an opportunity to gain one up on you by blindly stealing from you, or criminal activity with your name that may have to do with your finances, or they could just be using your own insecurities against you to lower your self-worth so they can override your protection system and to make you feel some type of way about you standing your ground. Okay, so let's move on to a Libra. All right, so Libra, reassess partnerships and share values because Venus ruled Libras. Yeah. Yeah. Seventh house, Aries. So go back one, sixth house, Pisces. Yeah. So reassessing partnerships and share values when it comes to your daily routine, your work, your healthcare routine. Okay. How you service others and others servicing you. That's going to be reassessed. Are you partnering correctly with the diet that you have? Are you partnering correctly with the exercise routine that you have? Are you assessing the values that you share between yourself and those who you work with on a day-to-day basis? That's going to be highlighted with this Venus. And because it's in Aries too, you might start to back away from one-on-one partnerships of all kinds that do not hold the same value system as you do. You'll start to move into partnerships when Venus goes into Pisces that are healthier for you. You'll start to see what's healthier for you and want to move forward with those partnerships, and let and start to dissipate or disassociate or move away from the one-on-one partnerships when Venus goes back direct in Aries that no longer, you guys are not on the same frequency. All right, fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Aries, personal reinvention and authenticity. Now, this is going to be first house to 12th house. So this is going to feel like you feel inspired, you feel good about yourself, and then you going back and reassessing your looks, your outward aesthetic, how you assert yourself, and again, this is some a way for someone to use your insecurities against yourself and cause you to second guess yourself. And when Venus goes back into the 12th house, you want to be a bit more tighter when it comes to your finances. You might want to be a bit more tight on who you attract or what you attract into your life. You might want to reassess that a little heavily. With Venus being in the 12th house in Pisces, it's like you can literally kind of let yourself completely go when it comes to being compassionate and things of that nature. But even if you find the right person and you want to be with them, I think you might be reassessing the partnership, because you might be asking yourself, are you ready for this connection? Are you ready for this partnership? Are you ready for this commitment? And that's what's going to cause, and it could be just you recommitting yourself to something that's going to cause you to go over your doubts, your insecurities, and find, spirituality as the partnership that you actually need, not finding that in another person where you become codependent, or reverse, where someone is becoming codependent on you spiritually, when this is an individual journey. All right, so Leo, this Leo Sun, Leo rising, this is going to speak to you. Yeah, eighth and ninth house, Pisces and Aries, eighth and ninth houses. So, for Leo, this is a reassessment of the money that you share with others, as well as legal matters. So that could be coming up. If you, money has, this could be taxes as well. Eighth house does represent taxation. However, government money that you share, like all of this is going to be up for review. And the ninth house has to do with how you believe in yourself. This is about faith. Okay, what do you have faith in? This is openness and trust. What are you open to experiencing? Sagittarius energy, ninth house, Jupiter energy. And how are you going to trust in what is going to be provided from you for you through your most high frequency power? That's what this Venus retrograde is going to do for you. It's going to help you ease out of debt, of owing folks. It's going to help you get out of that situation and move into a more stable one. But your frequency, your energy, your vibration has to be aligned with that. Otherwise, you're going to run into some difficulties and start to become too codependent on, like, one source of money that comes from another person, instead of creating your own and having the trust and openness to see you generating a new source of income without that. Okay, so don't claw on or allow others to claw on you for money. Keep moving in a way that your most high power is going to direct you and tell you to go, especially when it comes to legal matters. Don't be afraid. Okay, you have the ability to succeed regardless of what the outcome is. So don't fear, fret. Sagittarius, for Leo and Sag, it says adjustments in romantic and creative expressions. So Leo, you got an opportunity to be creative about how you're going to move forward when it comes to money and legal matters. Sagittarius, Pisces represents your fourth house, your IC. Okay, that's four signs away. It's a square to you. So when Venus goes from the fifth house back into the fourth house, you definitely will be reevaluating your romantic life, your creative expressions, and how it can offer you stability. Okay. So if you have any insecurities coming up in regards to a romantic relationship, you want to evaluate where that may have stemmed from in your own personal emotional journey. Do not be so quick to attack the person outside of you if you're not able to accomplish your creative expressions the way that you want to, if you're not able to feel the romantic love that someone is giving to you. Assess whether or not you even open enough to accept it. Okay. And if there is an imbalance that is taking place in your romantic and creative expressions that has to do with your partner, then have an open conversation about it. And don't be so forgiving and so, you know, compassionate with someone that you completely disassociate yourself from needing that same love and respect and appreciation. So keep it balanced. All right. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Cancer and Scorpio, emotional realignments in relationship. So Cancer, this is going to be, let's see, ninth house Pisces, 10th house Aries. Okay, yeah, square. All right, so Cancer, this Venus retrograde is definitely going to touch on your belief system, like what philosophies you use in life and the legal matters as well. And it's going to retrograde out of your 10th house, which has to do with your career. So you may have to reevaluate what type of career you have going on right now. Emotionally, is that satisfying you? Not materialism. No. Emotionally, is this career satisfying you? Are you finding emotional balance in your career? If not, with the Venus retrograding back into Pisces, it's going to ask you spiritually, are you following your intuition, your higher power when it comes to deciding what path is right for you? Is it in alignment? Because if you feel insecure about your career choice, then that means that you're not going to have a strong faith system when it comes to moving forward in on the path of your career. So if you need to start making adjustments to your career, or if you need to choose a new career, this will be the proper time to do so. And this will be a great way for you to segue into a new path by doing an evaluation about where you are now in your career. How does it make you feel? And do you feel like you're on the right path? If not, you go to spirit for assistance in how you should move forward. Okay. Don't let other people or the world make you feel insecure if you have to make a career switch and they're not sure about money wise how that's going to affect you, and vice versa, because this is about relationships. All right. So this could be your partner, working less time and you not putting faith or belief in that they can actually accomplish the dream or the plan that they choose to accomplish. That could really ruin your relationship. So try to find a balance and giving to your partnership the belief in the faith that they can accomplish their mission, so that they actually will do it, and you'll see your relationship actually evolve into a better one because you chose to believe in your partner and the things that they want to accomplish, which automatically puts you in the state of mind where you have to show up and have faith in yourself too, because you can't give someone something that you don't have. So if you don't have faith in what's going on in your own career and your faith system, how can you give that to your partner? That's something that's going to have to be navigated. All right, Scorpio, emotional realignments and relationship. So Scorpio, where's Pisces in your chart? Scorpio, Pisces is your fifth house and Aries is your sixth house, because seventh house would be Taurus. Yep. So Scorpio, emotional realignments and relationships. However, you got your sixth and fifth house where Venus is going to retrograde. 1111. So this is definitely a doorway for you to walk through should you choose. All right. Sixth house has to do with health. All right. And fifth house has to do with creativity, children, even businesses that you create. So there's your health may force you to reevaluate what it is that you're actually creating for yourself in your life at this time. You may have some boundaries that may be a little loose when it comes to, it could be children, where the discipline needs to be tweaked a little bit. I can also see this as you needing discipline in some of the projects that you have going on, which is going to kind of force you to take a step back or reevaluate the type of job that you're working every day. Because sixth house does rules the job, the daily grind, as well as healthcare. Okay. So Scorpio, you could be having some issues when it comes to money issues when it comes to your job. You needing more money. So you may have to go back and reevaluate what you're doing with the projects that you're creating, how you're going to either put them on pause or slow it down, really, how you're going to slow down what you're working on to, properly balance out your job issue. Okay, so that you can take care of children or your projects being your children or your cars being your children or something. Because with the sixth house, and that's the thing too, whatever gets aligned and fixed, temporarily fixed. But whatever gets aligned in the Pisces house when Venus moves forward in the Aries house, you're going to reap the benefits. You always reap the benefits of one house from the previous house. So if your creativity and as far as your children or your businesses or whatever projects you have going on, once those are aligned with you and who you are and how you see yourself and how you create, your life for yourself, when you move into your sixth house, your daily grind, your job, your healthcare, you're going to see an improvement in your health. You're going to see an improvement in what type of job you have, or you may completely switch jobs because you need something that's going to support your, not only your relationship, seventh house, but also the things that you want to create in your life. Okay. So Pisces, this is going to be first house and second house. So intense personal reflection and spiritual growth. Okay. So this is a lot of self-love, a lot of self-care. Again, Saturn is here. So you may have had a lot of boundaries or a lot of lessons recently, especially if this is your Saturn return. Okay. So, with Venus moving into the second house, this has a lot to do with how we use our money, how we value our material things. Okay. So, Pisces, this is going to be your first and 12th, well, first and second houses. So, Venus will go into your second house, retrograde back into your first house. And this talks about intense personal reflection and spiritual growth. Now, Saturn already being here can feel like you have a lot riding on you or a lot of pressure to perform and do things the right way as possible. But with Venus coming here, it'll give you some type of relief, or some relationship may come into your life or an existing relationship you have to let you know that everything's going to be okay. You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself to perform, and bring some type of fun into your life. As long as you don't get distracted from your goals, everything will pretty much improve. Because when you feel better about yourself, your finances are going to automatically improve because you're in a more open space to receive. You're not so guarded or feel like you need to block everything out to prevent things from falling to the wayside or failing, when really the test is just to experience yourself a little bit deeper than maybe you have before. And a relationship with another person, place, or thing can offer you the opportunity to be a bit more compassionate with yourself as much as you try to be with other people. All right, let's get into the earth signs: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Taurus, balance between personal values and material desires. And that's going back to your 12th and 11th houses. Okay, not allowing other people to use your values against you or your desires against you, or you don't use them against yourself, to where you end up alienating yourself from the people who actually want to see you prosper because you're too busy thinking that someone is mad or jealous of you. Virgo and Capricorn, revisiting priorities in service and career. Now, with Virgo, Pisces is seventh house to Virgo rising, Virgo sun. So this is eighth and seventh and eighth house. So for your Virgo energies, this is going to be a reevaluation or revisiting priorities in service and career when it comes to your partner and relationships and how you guys do with money. So if you're getting married, planning to get married, which is seventh and eighth house, because eighth house is the glue, the solidification of the seventh house. Okay. So there may be some sharing of money, discussions that need to take place that maybe have not, and how the money is going to work for both of you and not just one of you. With it reversing into your seventh house, may mean you need to go back to the contract of your relationship and reevaluate what's working for you and your partner and what's no longer working for you and your partner, and find a way to compromise that by showing much compassion to both yourself and your partner. So if this is a relationship that you guys are looking forward to maintaining throughout the years, you want to be forgiving as possible, because money is a very touchy subject in relationships, so much so that it can cause people to break up over little to nothing. Okay. Now, Capricorn, priorities in service and career as well. For Capricorn, Pisces is your third house, and Aries, your fourth house, your IC. Okay. So at home, I'm getting like this at home or with your mother. Some things could possibly change at this time. You may have different values than how you were raised by your mother or the nurturing environment. And this can be kind of conflicting for you as a person. So there may be a need to be more compassionate and forgiving in how you communicate that to yourself as well as to those around you. With Venus being in Aries in the fourth house, you may love to be at home. You may love the comfort of that maternal figure or even that paternal figure, the person, because I do relate the fourth house to the father and the moon to the mother type deal. So it could be a reevaluation of your relationship that you have, how you see yourself with one of your parents, that may be up for review. And your third house is how you're going to be relearning how to integrate this new relationship that you may have with your parents, or reevaluating the relationship that you have with how you find emotional security with yourself in order to better your relationships. And third house could be siblings, your neighbors, how you communicate with others to get what you want. All those things are require a bit more forgiveness and grace on your behalf and from others as well. And Capricorn is not very much known for being, quote unquote, soft emotionally, but they're extremely sensitive creatures. So that sensitivity may be showing a bit more during this Venus retrograde, especially when it goes back into Pisces, because this gives you an opportunity to um, soften up as far as your how you communicate. You can communicate things in a very gentle way that maybe you couldn't before, and that may just be because there are more sensitive subjects with Chiron being in your fourth house that may need to be discussed, that are very triggering for you or for others when it comes to their ego. And when the ego comes up, that means you just don't want to let it go. You want to feel like you're right, and the other person is wrong. You're going to fight to defend that old personality as much as possible. And that might be the case with somebody in your family, or could be your parental figures. So do your best to be forgiving and compassionate as possible, while still maintaining your truth moving forward. Okay, you don't have to give up who you are for your parents. You just have to remember to respect them as much as possible, and also demand the same respect that you are giving, noticeably giving at that. All right, so let's get into the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So, as far as Gemini goes, this retrograde in Venus is going to help you with reevaluating communication and relationships. Now, Pisces is square to Gemini. So this is going to be your 10th house and the 11th house. So Venus is going to be in your 11th house of friendships. And this is not the friendships that you grew up with, third house. This is your friendships that have to do with what you want to do in the world, people who you can network and associate with that's going to help support the career or the life purpose in your 10th house. So, with this being reevaluated in how you communicate, because 11th house is an air house, it is about communication. You may have to reevaluate how you communicate with those people. And this could be simply figuring out how to communicate about this part of your life overall. If you haven't had any experiences with networking in the field that you really want to go in, but you've been working really hard in your field, you may have some insecurities come up about communication and how you translate what it is that you want to do, how you want to be, who you want to associate with. Those insecurities can come up and show up in your 10th house, where you may feel a bit shaky about the career decision that you chose to make. Now, with that is a chance and opportunity for you to strengthen your spirituality with Venus Pisces in your 10th house, because you're not going to be given anything, especially with Saturn here. Saturn is helping you to tighten up on the career field that you've chosen. So if you can let go of losing some communications, some relationships, if you can release how you communicate with yourself when it comes to the career that you've chosen, because it could be one that's, of course, challenging because it's 10th house. It's going to square your first house or square your sun. Okay. It's supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to force you to be triggered so you can head on deal with the things and then move on. 11th house is also social media, and the 10th house is your profile. Okay. So sometimes how we present ourselves to others can be misread by those who wants to work with us, and that's where conversation comes in, because 10th house and 11th house are your career, your branding. Okay. And you want to make sure those things flow together. So reaching out and associate with those who can actually, support you, or using technology to support your branding, is actually going to help you to put yourself or push yourself through the experience, is what's going to do the best for you. Because when you give 100% of yourself to what your craft is, you're going to get 100% back from that. All right. Now, Libra and Aries, we did talk about Libra and it being seventh house and sixth house where the Venus retrograde is. So this is us re-evaluating our partnerships, our jobs, our health, and seeing how those can be balanced out. Aquarius, shifts in partnership dynamics and friendship. So Pisces and Aries, this is going to be your second and third house. Okay. So with Venus being in your third house, going back into your second house, okay, this can be some very long held relationships that you have matured with over time that may be under construction at this time. So that can include you communicating with those people less and withdrawing into your money house, the second house with Venus and Pisces. Now, with that withdrawal means that you cannot compensate for missing in action or missing conversations or not being able to fully be there for those old friendships. Um, you can't compensate that with money and gifts and materialism. That is not going to happen. And if anyone is looking to say, well, if you can't show up, can you at least do this? You have to reevaluate what it is or the message that you're sending to that person or to that child. I can also see this too as you reevaluating your close personal friendships by allowing yourself to have more compassion over the relationship you have with money in general. So if you're going into a field where you're going to have more money than you ever had before, that's definitely going to shift how people that you communicate with perceive you, because now you have to think on a different level. You have to move on a different level. You have to look on a different level that matches the vibration you're aligning yourself to. And to other people, third house is a Gemini house, right? So to other people, that can come off as you being flip-floppy or you being twisted, fake, lying, whatever. They can twist the storyline however they want to, that makes them more comfortable with how they decide to communicate or treat you. However, with that second house Pisces, it's like you're either going to be focused on, with Saturn being here, building your wealth and your investment in yourself so it can last you a lifetime, and be a living legend for what you're working on right now. Or you can let what is being communicated around you or gossip behind your back get to you so much that you completely dissolve what you're working on out of insecurity of wanting friendships with people who ultimately are backstabbers. It's up to you. And you can also see this taking place in other people's lives. So the energetic shifts between Aries and Pisces. Aries is the bold fire energy. It is the spark of life. That's why the sun is exalted here. Okay, when spring comes, it's a burst or a boom of energy that is being released. Now with Pisces energy, this is soft, intuitive, emotional healing. All right, this is tapping into the parts of our psyche that we may not physically be able to reach, but subconsciously we always are there. Your subconscious is more powerful than your conscious mind, which is why it's always very careful that Aries energy, when it comes to bold, action oriented, behaviors, you're being intentional about what you say. You're intentional about what you eat. You're intentional about what you drink. You're intentional about how you spend your time throughout the day. And that takes a level of selfishness that a lot of people have been scared out of actually owning, which is why Pisces, 12th house to Aries, where we can undo ourselves with our own isolation, our own way of thinking and doing things. Or we could be sidetracked by our way of doing things for emotional healing, and we can end up disassociating from being true to ourselves by being too invested in trying to avoid the selfishness that's actually required for us to stand on our own 2 feet. So, some practical tips for the retrograde in Venus coming in March and April 2025. The Aries phase, avoid impulsive decisions in love and money. Don't jump into relationships. Take your time. Okay. Aries is very quick about getting to the point. Okay. Aries also connected to that phallus energy, you know. So slow down. Don't be so quick to give out the cookies or the goodies. Okay. Maintain focus on yourself. Okay, allow people to invest in you, and you send out equal measure. Okay, Venus is about give and take, not just give, 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 or just take, take, take. It has to be both. Journal about your desires and your boundaries. Remember your boundaries. Okay, reflect on whether you're acting authentically in the relationship with person, place, thing, or idea, or if you are self-sabotaging, or if you're moving too fast to get a desire when you really can take your time and not have to rush. During the Pisces phase, you want to focus on spiritual practices like meditation, dream journaling, forgiving yourself and others for past wounds, and be mindful of escapism or disassociation, or being overly idealistic about views in a relationship. So this is like, fantasy versus reality. And because the North Node will be here, it'll be more, it will be definitely, I feel, very much easier for you to drift off into dreamland and come up with your imagination, all these great ideals that can possibly take place. But you still want to temper that with the South Node in Virgo of being realistic about your day to day, because your dream fulfillment comes in your day to day living. It's not something that just falls in your lap. Every day you have to be moving one step closer to your dream fulfillment. That's why Virgo and Pisces are opposites. So a powerful affirmation for this retrograde is: I embrace the courage to face my truth and the grace to let go of what no longer aligns with my highest self. All right. So, on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel and follow me for more tips regarding astrology. And you can even book a personal reading on my website at www.liminiscent.com. The link will be available in the description box below. And again, thank you so much for tuning in to I Am Luminiscent. Remember, the universe is always guiding you, so stay aligned, stay radiant, and see you next time. Bye.